I don't know. Nope. Hands. First line. The high tour is a great example of what it looks like to be on an adventure with God. Now, us as the bands, we are all Christians. We all love Jesus and want to share our faith with others. By doing gigs, going into schools, we believe we're doing what God has asked us to do, sharing our faith with others, people who may not believe Him. You are one of those people. Not all Christians are in bands or talk about God from the stage. I mean, you may have the opportunity to do that, but just because you don't doesn't make you any less important to God's rescue plan for this world. Social scientists have this theory called 6 degrees of separation. The theory is that you are connected to anyone else in the world through just 6 different people. For example, you are connected to your friend's friends, even if you don't know them at all. You are 1 degree of separation away. What would happen if we shared our faith with all of our friends and they met with Jesus and chose to follow Him too? How many people could they share their faith with? Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe even millions of people could be introduced to Jesus for the first time. That's how it's always worked too. Jesus walked on earth 2,000 years ago and He left behind 12 disciples, 12 people who went out and shared their faith with everybody that they knew. And now today there's over 2 billion people who've had their lives changed and transformed by Jesus. And the church is still growing, even in places like China, where Christianity is limited by the government. The church is ballooning. God didn't choose to enter the world through some massive fanfare and take over the government. Although there were loads of angels singing about Jesus being born, God chose to reveal His love for us through people like you and me, through shepherds and fishermen and even slaves. We're just as valuable to His plan to see the whole world come into relationship with Him. Now, if you guys could choose somebody from the group to read Matthew chapter 28, verses 18 to 20. Jesus asks us to join His adventure. He makes His call personal to us. He usually doesn't suddenly expect us to do something that's outside of our skill set, like becoming an actor if you don't like speaking out loud, or becoming a football player if you've got 2 left feet. But He asks what we can bring and He turns it into something amazing. This doesn't mean that He won't challenge us, but He always takes what we bring. Now, if somebody from the youth group could please read Matthew chapter 4, verses 18 to 20. Jesus called 2 fishermen, Peter and Andrew, and He said He'd make them fishers of men. Do you remember the story when Jesus fed 5,000 people using a little boy's lunch? Even though He didn't bring much, just 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus used the little that He had and He used it to do something amazing. Cool beans.